I realize the news is all about Mr. Tweets-a-Lot's next post. And I'm sorry that all of this and his friends and Russian spies are sympathetic to that situation. And I don't know which is worse, that all of his closest friends fall into all things Russian and he doesn't know anything about it. Or worse yet, he does know something about it. Or maybe that's not worse yet. But I don't really want to talk to you about that, because I don't think that any of us would care if he was doing the job he's supposed to do as the person marshaling resources for the benefit of our society. So just for a moment, I don't really want to slam anybody or do anything, but I want you to think about something. I want you to just take a second and imagine if your world was entirely wiped away. In our society, I have seen earthquakes hit the West Coast. There's been historical records of them hitting Alaska. There's been huge floods everywhere from Washington, obviously Florida, the South. There's been fires and forest fires. And what scares me is, what if Mr. Tweets-a-Lot decided to take as much interest in your neighborhood and your disaster as he has Puerto Rico? If you think about it just for a second, imagine, your family, your friends, most of them being wiped away, no resources around, but you've paid for this insurance policy. Okay, the disaster insurance. Well, folks, I'm sorry to bring this up, but it's something that I'm praying about and am concerned about, and I hope that you are too. But this has been going on for 50 days. And I don't want to think that they're this stupid. Okay, look, there has to be somebody around him that will say, look, this is the resources we already have. We already have the resources to address this situation, and they could have been there in 10 days. We're now past 50 days. So I'm going to ask you to just think about this for a moment and imagine if it was you. There are now, according to general numbers, community leaders, not necessarily the politicians, but community leaders, there's more people that have died in Puerto Rico because of not having fresh water, food, shelter, than there was because of the disaster. How criminal is that? Now, please, just hang in here with me for a little bit, because I'm going to explain a solution. Okay? I'm going to explain it. We have the equipment to fix this. And we did more than this when we pulled the troops out of Afghanistan, when we pulled the troops out of Europe, when we pulled during the Second World War, when we did the Berlin airlift. We have marshaled more than this. We have taken care of bigger problems than this. So please, I beseech you, hang in with me just a few minutes, because I will explain to you how easy this is. The United States military has got huge amounts of people in the desert and on the seas. And they have boats that have thousands of people on it that they don't carry fresh water bottles every day. They have water treatment systems that can basically take mud and turn it into drinkable water. I've heard it said that they could do that with sewage, but that's... Anyway, so what I'm trying to say to you is that we have trucks, and we could put 2 or 3 of these in a container, along with the helicopters to fly them to different parts of this island. And that could have been done by now. On top of that, we have got warehouses full of tents. Now, maybe they're not the coolest, nowest, wowest, best tent out there at the moment, but we have warehouses on numerous bases and as backup. These tents not only will hold a soldier, but they have tents that you could put an entire hospital in. They have tents that you could use as aircraft hangars. So a number of these tents, you could probably put in 2 or 3 containers or 2 or 3 aircraft, enough tents to house thousands of people. You know, like the airlift, okay? But let's say you send it all by boat, okay? There are warehouses full of food. It's a part of our food preservation program that was started by the USDA, I think, 90 years ago. But in every state, there's at least 2 major warehouses. I'm not talking about a storeroom now. I'm talking about major, large, huge warehouses. 2 of them full of food. How come the governors haven't handed this stuff out? Said, hey, we got some. So we've got water, we've got shelter, we've got food. And maybe it's not gourmet, and maybe it's not great, but it keeps people from starving to death, from dying of thirst or exposure. Now, I wish I had the money and the resources available to Mr. Tweets a lot. This would have already been done. I've been talking about this for a month, and I was hoping somebody else would catch on. But maybe I'm giving them too much credit. And I'm not talking about just the Republicans. I am not talking, this is not a Republican thing. We lack decent leadership that will do something about this situation. And what scares me is next year is coming. And we are doing nothing to curtail the weather conditions of this year, preventing them from next year. There are solutions. By the way, the government has paid for these solutions. They're just not adopting them because some politician doesn't like it. Okay, this is our planet. If it ceases working for us, the planet continues, we don't. Okay? But getting back to this situation in Puerto Rico. Look, they're talking about spending, I have heard the number like $11 trillion to fix the electrical system. What? No, doesn't take that much money. You could take one of those $1 trillion, one of those, and provide solar panels for everybody there. At least enough power for them to power their cell phones. Oh, but they can't do that either, by the way, folks. They can't get their laptops to start. They can't imagine not being able to start your cell phone, your laptop, or anything else. I would love to see them survive for one day without that. I can tell you this, that if you took all 700 politicians I'm talking about, which includes the governors of the Congress, including the House and the Senate and the president, and those bureaucrats and cabinet members, put them all in a day with no food and no water. Wouldn't kill them, but they'd get the point. And what would freak them out worse is if you took away their electronic devices for a day. These people don't have electricity. Okay, so again, a few containers full of electrical panels and the electrician and a couple of technicians, and that island would have had some degree of power right now. It would not be a perfect situation. But we're not looking at perfect, we're looking at surviving. So go out and look at these pictures that are on the news of little kids starving to death that are American citizens. Go out and do it. Go out and check out what I've said on the web. See if we have the equipment the tanks and the tents. Just Google it. Okay? Did you know that Mr. Musk, the guy that wants to, explore space and the oceans, and Tesla, and he has offered to do this and nobody's returned his call? Yeah. Hello? Yeah, we'll let you do that. How hard is that? What political bullcrap is this when we already have the equipment, when we already have the resources, when we already have the money supposed to be there? So what we do is we rent a big boat and put some containers on it, and it would have been there. Let's get this done. Please, not only post this on your website or your Facebook, please share it, but look to see who your congressperson is, your House of Representative and your senator. Take the governor of your state. They all have Facebook pages. It's not just the Russians anymore, okay? They all have Facebook pages. Please post it on theirs. Share it with them. Let's get some buzz about this, because this solution can get done. And I'm tired of hearing about people dying that are American citizens and we're not doing anything about it. Because what scares me the most, and I mean fear, what scares me the most, what if this was my house? What if this was my family? What scares me is they might show just as much concern as they have for the people in Puerto Rico. Well, I don't know if anybody else wants to talk about this, but I'm going to bring a few in. Yeah. I'm trying to invite you. Anybody else want to come on? Here's a person who understands water and sewer a lot better than I do. And I'm hoping she hops on for me, but maybe she's at work. Anyway. Please contact somebody, not just your best friend, but I mean, pick a politician, pick somebody in the news. I know that every newscaster has a Facebook page. Post it to one of theirs, the one you like. I don't care what network they're on. This should not be a political party thing. Somebody needs to step up, who's got command and resources, some governor, some senator, some congressperson, a House of Representative. Because God knows the Mr. Tweets-a-lot isn't going to do it. Now, the other thing is that I want to ask you to pray. Whatever religion you are, whatever belief structure you have, I want you to pray. Whether you pray to the goddess, God, Allah, Buddha, whoever, meditate, do something. Send these people some energy, something sustaining. Okay? Please. This does not have to become more tragic. We can at least care for each other. Please do this. Thank you.